Well, it's certainly been an eventful 24 hours since Micheál arrived in Washington and was entertained yesterday by not only J.D. Vance, but also by the Donald himself, Donald Trump, in the White House. Didn't really go the way a lot of people would hoped it would go, that Martin would be put on the spot. Maybe we get some kind of public dressing down, deservedly so, for the damage that he has inflicted and is continuing to inflict on Ireland. But hey, one good takeaway from all of this is that Donald Trump acknowledged there was a housing crisis in Ireland, but it's because it's doing so well and that he has confidence in Micheál Martin that he will deliver the goods and get it sorted out. The Burkes were there also. They flew out a few days ago. They held a silent protest in support of Enoch Burke and also to draw attention to some of the travesties that are happening in Ireland with regards to transgenderism in schools and lack of religious freedom of expression and so on and so forth. So let's get into it in no particular order. I'm just going to take this as I find it. We'll go up here to the first release, acknowledgement, the White House itself. It's a great honour to have Micheál Martin, TD, Ireland. It's a very special place. He's a very special guy. He really is, isn't he? You think Micheál's a special guy? Leave a comment below if you just tell me how special you think he is. We have a tremendous business relationship with Ireland. In fact, tremendous business relationships, not just one business relationship, but several. And that will only get stronger, says President Donald J. Trump. And there's various photographs of them all standing and sitting, smiling and grinning. And of course, there was the time-honoured tradition, as Micheál puts it, this is his post, of the Shamrock Bowl ceremony. It's an important moment to reflect on the relationship between our two countries. Our peoples have stood side by side for a long time, he says, and Irish America has been at the heart of shaping this great nation. And there he is, standing there with his crystal bowl full of shamrock. Even J.D. Vance yesterday had shamrock socks on. He had his little shamrock on his jacket. He was talking about Micheál. Micheál was talking about him coming back to Ireland and doing a road trip, going round the Ring of Kerry, seeing the sights. He didn't mention iPass centres, didn't mention going into small towns and villages while the Gardaí are in there pepper spraying and beating pensioners off the streets because they don't want hordes, legions of men dumped in their villages. I wonder will he be taking them there? But I digress. The Shamrock Bowl ceremony. Micheál's looking very proud of himself. And let's be honest, some great, fantastic photo opportunities here yesterday. And Micheál capitalised on them. He really did. But this is a shocking take on things that you could almost hear the sharp intakes of breath all across Ireland whenever the Donald came out with what could only be described as a clanger yesterday. Or was it? No, he's not that stupid. He's pretty well briefed, I would imagine, on what's going on. But let's see what he says here. Donald Trump backs Micheál Martin to solve Ireland's housing crisis. If you were a betting man or woman, would you back Micheál Martin to solve Ireland's housing crisis? And if so, how much money would you put on it? The US president said the housing issue had arisen because Ireland is doing so well. Incredible spin. I have to give props to Trump and people of his ilk. They really know how to spin anything around to try and make it look like a positive. 15,000 plus homeless in Ireland that we know of, not including people that are sofa surfing, living in cars, haven't declared themselves homeless, living in their friends' houses. 15,500 plus men, women and children of Ireland homeless. House building falling woefully behind targets last year. Lies by the government about the house building programme and how far ahead it was, or should I say how far behind it was. But Trump says the housing issue is because Ireland is doing so well during his Oval Office meeting with the Taoiseach. So there's a picture of them here, and this is probably the worst takeaway from this entire circus yesterday. That when Trump came out with that statement, Martin grinned. Look at him smirking, grinning. He said, "Yes, good comment, Mr. President. Ass kissing, brown nosing mayhole." There's a reason why his name is Mayhole, by the way. Ireland's government has faced sustained criticism from its opposition for its housing policies. Not just the opposition, from huge swathes of Irish people. During his meeting with the Taoiseach, Trump was asked what Ireland had to do to build thousands more homes a year. And he replied, "You know why they have a housing crisis? Because they're doing so well. They can't produce houses fast enough. That's a good problem. That is not a bad problem." So, what do you make of that? Leave me your thoughts and comments below in the comments section. Is Trump off his head? Has he been smoking the Shamrock? Is he playing 5D chess here? Or is he just crazy? Is he backing a globalist in the shape and form of Martin? A WEF, acolyte, arch globalist, enemy of the people of Ireland. You know, a bowl of Shamrock and a crystal vase doesn't really cut it. So what do you make of that statement? Martin, thank the Lord for Ryanair. That's all I can say. Because Martin tried to get tough with the Donald. He was squirming for most of the day. He was nervous. He was out of his depth. But then he had this trade is a two-way street slogan. That, you know, his advisory team have been sitting working on this one for weeks. What do we say? We need to be tough. We can't be complete doormats, Micheál. You can't just lie down and let him walk all over you. So I know, let's talk about two-way trade. So Ireland and America have a very good relationship. It's a historic relationship that will continue to develop and endure into the future. And he kept banging on about Ryanair buying Boeing jets and Trump sitting there looking at him. He doesn't look very impressed, does he? But anyway, he talked about that two-way trade. Trump also, it's worth noting, talked about how he believed that Ireland was taking advantage of America, especially in the pharmaceutical sector, and that it would be time to rectify that right now. So don't get too excited too quick. Anyone who thinks that this was a roaring success for Micheál yesterday, because it wasn't. Just finish off with, we saw the Burkes were on transit to Washington a few days ago. There's a report out this morning or yesterday. Members of Enoch Burke's family staged a protest in Washington. At least 4 members of the Burkes, including his parents, stood beside a barrier on the edge of the White House compound holding up signs. Well, it wasn't quite the protest that we would hoped for, although they did go and they did draw attention to this. A lot of people were hoping that they would get access to the president and to voice the plight of Enoch further, but that didn't happen. At least it hasn't happened so far, but fair play to them for going over there and drawing the attention. The family was spotted on a flight to the US on Tuesday, which I reported on Tuesday afternoon, which led to speculation they may have been invited by Musk, who's previously posted on X. No confirmation of that one either. At least 4 members of the Burkes, including his parents, stood outside the barrier. So the signs they were holding up, black and white slogans such as "No religious freedom in Ireland" and "America needs to know the truth about Ireland." Another placard displayed a photograph of Mr. Burke, Enoch, along with the number of days he was in prison. He wasn't present. Asked to speak about their presence in Washington, the family refused to engage with members of the Irish media who were there to cover Micheál's visit with Trump. So, very eventful 24, 48 hours. It's not over yet. What do you think? Was it a damp squib? Were you hoping to see Micheál getting a dressing down? It was unlikely that he would have done it in the same way as Zelensky, given that it was St. Patrick's Day, or supposed to be a ceremony for St. Patrick's Day. It's obviously not until next week. But strange one, and Micheál has came out reasonably unscathed. And some people are even saying he looked like a great statesman, looked like a great diplomat. But this housing crisis business, shocker from Trump. What do you make of that? Leave me your thoughts below if you find this information or this content useful, beneficial. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, share it with other people, join the channel if you feel so led to do so. And for now, I'm Rick Munn, No Risk, No Reward Media, over and out.